Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. Well, ever since I got my last power bill, and the next one's due to come in probably this week, I have left my off grid inverter on. Now, with that being said, my bill dropped about 37, almost 40% last month, but we wasn't near as hot and wasn't cold, so I didn't have to run heat and air a whole lot. But as y'all can see, charger on, fast charge mode, and then this is the shore power on shore power on, line battery charger active. So when the batteries get weak, it switches back to the grid and charges the batteries back up. Now with the solar's charging the batteries at the same time that the inverter is taking grid power to charge them back up. So hopefully it's taking less to charge them back up than what I'm using. But I've decided when I got that last bill that I'm just going to leave my system on. And I have not had a problem with it that made me switch back to grid until yesterday. So basically I put a new, and y'all know in my house I use window unit air conditioners just because I can run one and have some cooling and not have to worry about a big central AC unit, which is what I do for a living. But yesterday I put the new unit in my bedroom, and basically the way the inverter set up, and I'm sure most of them are this way, is like here. It'll tell you how much it's using, percentage of what it's capable of when it's actually off, on off-grid power. And you've got resettable fuses here for line 1 and line 2 power coming in. So basically it monitors one side, not both. But when the load gets heavy, it will kick on the fans and so on. So I marked my panel box, and I'll show y'all. It's hard to see. Like water heater, I've got right. So this leg, this row, works off the right leg coming in. This row works off the left leg. I had the right side marked backwards. So I was trying to even the load out in the panel box so that I'm getting, roughly the same amount of amp draw on one leg as I am the other, and it makes the inverter work better as far as evening out the draw. So I redid that today. I marked it correctly, and I actually moved, because my kitchen, there's a bigger window unit in the kitchen than there is in the other parts of the house. So I had it marked left, but it was actually on the right side. And then the bedroom is on the left. So I was drawing 20 something amps on one leg and not much on the other, like 1 point something. So I evened it back out, got it labeled correctly, and I'm hoping that's going to solve the issue I was having with my inverter. So because it was not overloading, but maxing out on one side and not on the other. So I just wanted to do a quick update on that and show y'all I haven't done anything else with it. I'm still in test mode. I can tell you right now, I know for sure I'm going to need to double my batteries because I'm not getting long enough runtime for it. So I'm going to at least add 5 more batteries to my system, and I'm probably going to add more solar. I've got 10 panels. And, so as the time goes by, I'm probably going to end up with either 14 to 20 solar panels and at least 10 batteries, if not 14 or 16 batteries. And, y'all know how much this stuff costs. It's not going to be something I can do in 1 or 2 months. But I wanted to do an update and show y'all. Now, this really doesn't have anything to do with the system. It's just an LED readout that tells me what the batteries actually are versus what the inverter says. So when I walk by, I don't have to push the button on there to tell me. I can just look at it. Now, I do have my sheetrock to cover up that end up there. I do have the lid for the panel box. But during testing, like today, me rearranging a couple of those breakers, I don't want to have to take it all apart if I need to move something else. So different times of the year, running air conditioners, I don't need all of them on one half of the inverter. So that was kind of the deal. But either way, I am still testing my system and seeing how far we can go. But basically, it runs the entire house. This inverter runs my entire house, which is a small house. It's not technically a tiny house, but it's a small house. So, you know, if you look up the average size of a bedroom in the American home, and then look up the average size of a main bathroom, the average size of the kitchen, my rooms are larger than average. Quite a bit larger, actually, but I just have fewer of the rooms. I don't have a lot of wasted space. So that makes my house much smaller. And my goal is to be 100% off grid and not have to go back to the grid to recharge my batteries. But, you know, if I had a electric start generator, when it needed to charge the batteries, it would crank the generator and charge the batteries up, and I'd be running on generator power instead of grid. So that you just connect that in the same place the grid connects. Not that big a deal, but I'm not able to do that right now. So for now, it's going to stay the way it is until I get it built to where I know it's 100% and everything's working the way it's supposed to work. You know, the little bitty tweak sometimes makes a big difference. And I told y'all when I started this series for the off-grid power that I'd show y'all the good and the bad. And that's just one of the things that needs to happen. You need to balance the load in your panel box according to your power usage. You know, if you've got multiple bedrooms but no one uses one of those bedrooms, then you're not going to have any amp draw on that room, but your master bedroom's definitely going to have amp draw. So you don't want, you know, if you're using 2 bedrooms and you've got 3, you don't want both those bedrooms drawing on the same side of the inverter through one leg. I want to put one on each one to help even out the load that it's pulling in and putting out. It just makes your equipment a lot more efficient. So that's what I did today, was balance that panel box a little bit more than the way I had it. And we're going to keep running with the inverter and let it switch when it needs to. Typically when I get up in the morning, my water heater will kick on because I've just took a shower, and after running all night off grid, the batteries are too weak to tote that higher load, so it'll automatically switch back to the grid and start charging about 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, by 9 o'clock or 9 or 10, the sun's already up. It's been charging from the panels and the grid, and it switches back to off grid, and it runs on the off grid all day while I'm at work, and then all afternoon and evening before dark. And it actually, typically I run till 10 or 11 o'clock at night off grid, and then the batteries are too weak and it switches back and starts recharging them from the grid, and so on. So it's not perfect. I need to make it larger to tote the load 100%, and I'm working on that. But, you know, like I said, it ain't cheap. So anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all following along. If there's any questions that I can answer, I'll be glad to try. If there's some help I can give you in any way, you know, I'm more than happy to try to help anybody that I can. I appreciate y'all watching the videos, subscribing to the channel, commenting, hitting the thumbs up. It really means a lot to people like me with a small channel. Thank y'all very much. Remember what I always tell you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared.